Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about linings, actually lining a hat, which is completely different to what I normally do. I'm normally telling you about sort of the business side of it, or maybe the PR side, in these sort of live videos. But today we're going to tackle actually creating a hat. So I haven't done this live before, and I thought it might be quite exciting for you all to actually come on and do this with me. So if you want to, then get your headpiece ready. So I've got this one that I'm working on here. Got my piece. This is my lining. So this is the lining I'm going to show you how to do. Some of the pins are still in there, so I haven't finished this yet, just to show you. So get your piece ready. This one's on a button base. So if you've got that one, brilliant. Maybe you have one a little bit wider, a little bit deeper, that's fine. This can also be used in a crown of the mother of the bride hat, so that's also fine. Yeah, nothing, I suppose, well, you could do a really deep one, but I would have a slightly shallower, so this is really good for a button base. So that is what we're going to do, and this is my other little one here which I'm working on, which goes with my outfit. So got my pin stuck in there. This is how it's going to look at the end of the day when it's done. We need to put a lining in this one. So if you've got a hat, get it ready, get your fabric ready, and then come back here and we'll start. So just first of all, I'm just going to see who's coming on. And also, hopefully this week my internet's better. It's not pouring with rain outside. So the, last week it was going, and it was like the internet was rubbish. So hopefully this week we're not going to get any issues. But if you do see any, then let me know. Oh, Anna, hi. Jeannie, hi. Hello. Esinam, so I hate it. Esinam. That's unusual. That's nice. Jane again, hi Jane Denton, hi Tracy, Svetlana, hello. Nice to see you, Svetlana. Trish, hi. Also, Hannah says thank you for sharing with us. Stretching a bit there, aren't I? Oh, you're welcome. I love these linings. Oh, keep moving it. Patricia, Laura. Oh, loads on Jeannie. Oh, fabulous. Loads of people on today, so that's really, really good. Right, so I'm doing this in my Inspiring Creative Women group, and I normally, like I say, do the videos on business, but we're going to be doing hats this time, and I'm doing this just to show you all something else and show you something different. So let's get started. First of all, you need your fabric. So I'm having black for this one because black will sit just nicely in there. I know you might think that's a little bit tame, but this sort of thing sells well. So I've just got a loopy loop at the top there. It's simple, it's not too crazy. Someone can just buy that and just wear that out without having to worry about it. You need these sort of staple things which are a little bit commercial in there sometimes. And you can see the loopy loop. So I was thinking about putting lots of different things on there, and I can do another one which is a little bit wild, but this one is like that because it's quite sellable. So we've got our fabric. I have my massive piece, and always remember to cut it on the bias. So I'm going to hide myself now, but look at this big piece. So this is where I've been cutting it. Yeah, that's a straight grain, and then this is the bias. So if you don't know the bias, how to find the bias, let me know in the comments, and I'll show you a quick little tip on how to find the bias point. But it's good to have the bias because then it'll stretch. Everything to do with hat making is about stretching out any darts, stretching it into place. And then from that, you want to cut your strip. See, now I'm going to get some pull from that, and that's what we want. Now to find that, to get your piece that's going to be on the bias running right the way through it, you're going to need to measure. So what we have to do is measure from the middle of this point, flat, and then out to here. This is roughly around 3 inches, I find, for this button base. And then we add 2 inches. 1 inch for the middle, because we want excess. We're at 1 inch excess for the middle, and then 1 inch for the outside because we're going to end up folding it in. So with this one that's done, I've got an excess of an extra inch in here and an extra inch here so it can fold in. Does that make sense? So you want to measure from here to here and then add 3 inches. I'm not measuring just straight across like this up in the air. I'm actually going in and out. So let's just test my one. So if I'm just measuring from the in here, pushing it against there, out, yep, I've got 3.5 inches for this one. So then I'll add 2 inches to that, so I'll say about 5.5 inches. Then you want to measure all the way around. So for this, if I start here, I will measure all the way around the outside. So I hope you're doing this with me. I might have to move a little bit quicker for everyone, but try and catch up, or you can watch it on replay. So that is 19.5. So I want an extra 2 centimetre seam allowance on this bit. So roughly an inch. So you know, it's just over an inch, isn't it? Well, no, it's just under an inch, sorry, 2 centimetres. So, but I always like to add a little bit extra on just in case. So if you, and to make it easier, to round it up, we've got, what, 19.5 inches for the circumference, add 1 inch on. For the bit in the middle, add 2 inches on. Okay, so that will give you this nice long length. Okay, this is the same size all the way down, it's just it's stretching because it's heavier. So it's looking like it's bowing in the middle, but it is the exact size all the way down. So we need that. Any questions? Hi Dad, my dad's watching. Karen, Noreen, hi. Sonia, hi. Susan, hi. Valerie, hi. Maureen. Oh Claire, you're new. Welcome to the group. I haven't actually mentioned my name yet because I'm just used to everybody knowing, but in case you don't know, my name is Catherine Elizabeth. I'm hat designer, been one for 15 years. Love it, obsessed with hats. I have a shop in the Oxo Tower, so please check me out, Catherine Elizabeth Millinery. We also have this free group. We also have Millinery Academy, which is brilliant, full of some wonderful milliners in there, and I teach everybody every month on, we interview business experts and I teach them on millinery as well. I also do events and things and make big crazy hats, so if you don't know about me then that's a little bit. Right, next stage is to join it together. So you've got this end and you want to join it with this end. Now this would take me too long to sew, so I've already done it, but you want to sew either put it through the machine or sew little stitches, I would say little back stitches, all the way along 1 centimetre in from the edge. So we've got 2 centimetre seam allowance because that is this bit here. So this is where we've added this long length, where we added the 2 centimetres, and this bit here is where we added the 5.5 inches. But we actually added 1 inch, didn't we, instead of 2 centimetres, just to make it easier on your mind to remember. So that's just over 1 centimetre seam allowance, but it doesn't matter so much because we're easing it in later on. So you want to stitch all the way down here, tiny little stitches, as if they're machine stitches. I always do back stitches, so forward, backward, all the way along. And then it'll be really, really tight. So we're going to end up with this. This isn't perfect. I did this quite quickly, but all of this is going to be going inside anyway. But basically, you don't want to see any of the stitches in there. So if I'd done this in white, hopefully you still wouldn't even see them. So, you know, they're tiny. Only if I pull them, you'll see. This is what you want. You don't want any bits that are sort of coming apart, you know, later on, because this you're going to see. Mine is actually hiding in here. And this is it here. So you don't want to... Is everyone okay? Is everyone seeing me all right? I really hate the internet out in these places. I'm in Tunbridge Wells and it's kind of ridiculous in this day and age that you can't get brilliant internet. Sky, they can't do anything about it. Anyway, Valerie, hi from Texas. Sasha, hi Sasha. What fabric is that? It's a silk. So this is just a black silk fabric, this one. Linda, hello. Trisha, yeah, black silk fabric. Elaine, hello. Pamela, hi. Right, we'll get on. So you've got this, and this is the outside. If you've got an outside and inside to your fabric, just make sure it's the right way around. Mine, it doesn't really, it's the same both sides, so I'm okay, I don't have to worry too much. But if you want to think about that, then you should, because this is going to be my rough bit. So this is the bit I'm not going to see at the end of the day. So all of this I'm not going to see at the end of the day. I'm going to see the bit in here. Now, here comes the fun bit. If I find my needle and thread. So I'm doing this real time. You're going to have to bear with. And open that up. Open your little seam up. Can't see it. I'm all black on black, aren't I? So open my seam up and just start. I'm just going to put about a centimetre down from the edge, or maybe just over. I'm just going to attach my needle and thread to that area. Just go over it, say 3 times. Now I'm keeping this open, so it's like a tube. Some people make the mistake of joining the 2 sides together, but you don't want to, so you keep it open. Now it's attached, it's not going to come off, and I can just go in, out, big stitches. All the way along. Who's doing this with me? If you are, then please write on there if you're doing it with me or not. It'd be nice to know. So in, out, big fat stitches. You can see it's gathering up. That side's gathering. In, out. So if this was pre-recording, I could speed this bit up. Right back to the beginning. And out. So then all draws up into a little bag. Just lost my needle. Into a little bag happening here. Now it's still loose, still got a bit of a hole in the middle. You might find that there are some bits here, it's sort of, some of it's gone through the wrong way. So we need to now catch every single loop to make sure that it's all up this way and nothing is hiding down this way. Because if you did it all and then something was hiding, one of the little bits was hiding that way, it would ruin the whole look for you. So we've got that so far. And then we're not cutting it off or anything, we're just going to catch the little loops. Excuse me, I've just lost my needle. Should have a separate one for these occasions. Lucky enough, I stuck one in that hat. So I'm going to attach that to the end. So who is doing this with me? Laurie, hi. Welcome. And who else is new to this group? Real time, always a nightmare to thread needles. I do have glasses, but I can't wear them. Because I've apparently got a rugby ball eye, and so I had got these glasses to correct that, and now everything, when I put them on, looks like this. The floor, everything, the computer, everything, so I can't put them on. Anyway, so now if I can get a bit closer, you can see it is all up there, and I want to catch every single little loop that's going on here. So some of them might try and come out, might try and hide. So we're catching one loop here. Two. You can see I've got a big You see that I've got a big space here, that's fine. Just catch that one. Work your way around, catching every single loop. See, this bit here is looking a little bit like one is hiding inside, and it was. So catch it, pull them apart, make sure you're catching each little loop. I'll try and do this quickly. Okay, so who is doing this with me? You're all just watching. Okay. Right, one more. Cool. Big one there. Try not to catch two loops at the same time as well, because then it might be a little end hiding in there that's been caught in under the other side, so just keep checking. So I can carry on with that. I need to concentrate a bit. I don't want to start boring you with it, but what we want is this lovely thing inside here. So this is our top, and we want it to look like this on the inside. So what I mean by the tufty bits, if they've come out, you'd see one of the rough ends and loose thread on this side, and we don't want that, so we want it all to be nice. So once you've caught every single one, and you've checked and you've made sure they're not going to come out, then you need to wrap. So then we wrap thread around the top, roughly where you've been catching it, just to make that nice and tight. Do one little last stitch, going back through the loop, through again, back through the loop, pull that, and then I can cut it off. So if that's too long, if you find that's too wispy and too long, you can trim some of it off. You don't want to cut it right down, because if it starts fraying, then it'll just go right into your stitches. So this is what you've got. Then this bit is going to go into this bit. To do that, I'm just going to catch the top. Anyone got any questions on this? So there, my top is caught, and then I'm going to push my needle and thread right into the middle and just do one little stitch to secure that in place. So I'm drawing my hat up into the middle, and then go hold it and go back down. And then I'm going to sew that to the middle. Let's do a few stitches, a few knots. So these are really easy when you know how. Just remember all those little bits about making sure there's no tufty bits sticking out. And then you've got a really nice lining. So that's in the middle. So now that means that this nice bit is not going to move to the left or to the right, because it's in the middle there. So we can cut that off. And now the fun bit is to open this up, and we've got a beautiful lining inside. This is our seam at the back, and I always make sure I have a little bit extra because I want to hide that seam. So I'll start sewing from here all the way around, and then I'll fold over for my last little stitch so that I'm hiding that seam like this one. You can't see where the seam is because I put an extra fold here. So this is the only way you can tell, is by this stitch. So my actual, the seam is hiding in there because I put an extra fold at the end. So I started sewing from this side all the way around, got to about here, put my fold in, and then sewed it down. So you can see it's like that, but now we need to actually push it down and just pin it. So I'll put that in there. You can see it's a little bit wrinkly still, so I'll just manoeuvre it with my fingers until I'm happy where that's sitting. So if it's too big, I'll get rid of some more, but I want it to be able to fit in there and still look pretty. So then we can pin that in. So this is the seam. It's probably backwards for you, but I'm going to go from this way. I'm going to sew all the way around, and then I'm going to put my pleat, because then when I'm actually sewing it, I'm sewing it from left to right, which is the way I like to sew, but you might like to sew from right to left. I could just put a pin in. Now the last bit is stitching this in, and this is going to take a while, so I'm just going to explain. I won't actually sew all of this in, because otherwise you'll be sat here staring at me sewing for about 10 minutes or so. So I just place it in just so you can see. This is how it's looking, and look, I've got some excess, so that's what I wanted, so that when I get round to my seam, which is here, I can just fold it under and be doing that. I've got a nice edge. Now the way I sew that in is on the very, very edge, so I'm just catching the very end of it, and I'm going, if you've got a bendy needle, you can actually go in, and we want to go sort of push your needle through the fabric and then back out again. So you're moving along about a centimetre from one point to the other, just catching the very, very edge of the material, and then you're moving along inside and then catching the very edge again. But if you don't have one of those bendy needles that can get in, because this is obviously curving around, so it's very difficult, what you could do is come out at a zigzag. So you're going to come out at a diagonal, and then you're going to come back in at another diagonal. So you're coming out by half a centimetre, back in by half a centimetre, and then you're moving along a centimetre. So I'm just going to come from here, I'm going to come out like that, out this side, and then back in like that. So that looks quite a lot actually, it's about an inch. But in reality, you're doing this by about a centimetre. So out to this point here, and then back in again, and then out, and then back in again, and then out, and then back in again. So you end up with tiny little stitches on this side. You don't really want to see them, so you have to keep them as small as possible, 1 millimetre wide, and that's it. And then fluff your nail over the top afterwards. And you don't want to pull too tight, because if you pull tight, then this starts to dip in. So it's actually sort of a loose-ish stitch, just enough to keep that tight, but not enough to make any dips happen in here. So you can either do it by going across, or you can do it by doing a zigzag. Okay, and then you're going to have your beautiful lining, just like this one. And then we can put it on the head. So any questions? I haven't finished this one yet, but this is my abaka, silk abaka. I've put all of this pattern on here. Might move it around a little bit more, not sure yet. Might move that around. But I've actually dripped the thing on here and then sprayed it, sort of create the pattern. But this is one of our classes in the academy, the Millinery Academy, and I'll show you how to do all of that in there if ever you want to know. So, any questions? Patricia, hi. Do you put lining in all your hats for decoration, practical reasons, or both? I always put them in things like this. I just think it's nice to finish it off. If your client's paying a certain amount, you know, a higher price, then I would put a lining in just to show them and show them the professionalness of it. And then you can put a little thin Petersham in as well, just to finish it off. I don't put them in everything. So say I've got a big sculptural hat, and I've got quite a shallow crown, so it's, you know, very shallow like this, then I wouldn't necessarily put one in, because then the bobble is going to show as well. A necklace is falling off. If I do that, then it's going to be quite shallow and you're going to feel the knobble. So if I've got a flat piece, I'll put a flat lining in, or I won't put any lining in at all, I'll just put Petersham in. So it depends on the hat. If the client wants it to be quite summery, they want you know, for the light to shine through it, then you don't need one. I do it with winter hats, so any headpieces, any felt pieces, pieces like this, it just makes it more luxurious and finishes it off nicely. I wouldn't necessarily put it in everything, no. Oana says, do you put Petersham first and then lining? I always put the lining in. You can do it the other way around if you want to. You could do the Petersham, then you could flip it out, and then you could put the lining in. Lining's usually the last thing I'd put in, but sometimes I will put Petersham on top of that. I find that easier because I'm not pulling it out the way. But lining really has to be the last thing, because when you're sewing everything on, then you're going to sew your lining on after that. But I tend to put lining and then just Petersham around it. Patricia said, gorgeous back headpiece. Thank you. Different. I'm feeling like it should be on this side, so I might change the elastic slightly. That's another thing, actually. I haven't put elastic in this piece, so that's one thing I need to do before sewing all of that down. So this one does have lining in it. If you need to know that, that would be a separate class. I've just put in this elastic here and on the other side, and then I'll finish off sewing all that down. Marion, hello. Okay. Would you do the same type of lining in a smaller button or something different? No, I would, because I love this lining. I think this is the best one. If I was going to do a big Mother of the Bride piece, big crown, then you can have the ones which have got more flat sides and flat top, because this one would be quite an arch going up. But I still think this one is much prettier. So if you turn a hat inside out and you can just see that effect, the you know, sort of button effect with it all splaying out, I think that is so much prettier than those other ones. And I don't like buying the nylon ones that you just put in. Sometimes you'd put those into felt hats, but I don't really like looking at the nylon. I think it needs to be a breathable fabric, so if you can use a silk, that's better, because then it just lets your head breathe a bit better than something that's a nylon-y fabric. Monica, hello. Thanks for coming on. We're right at the end now, so if you want to watch that again, then please do watch the replay. Get your fabric ready, cut it out. So that's one of the interesting things, is actually learning to get the right size. Make sure it's always on the bias, and then you sew the two pieces together, so you end up then with a cylinder. So we'll sew those bits together. You end up with sort of a round cylinder, and then you'll do the running stitch all the way around the top just to draw it all in. So it's you know, you've got all your little pleats, and then you need to catch every single pleat. Just make sure nothing is tucked inside or hiding, because if it is, it's going to look messy and you're going to end up getting little messy bits here, which you don't want. So catch every single pleat, make sure all that is done, then wrap your thread around it. Do a couple of knots just to make sure that doesn't come off, and then you can cut your thread, but don't cut your thread before that. You can do it all in one. And then you've got your nice little lining that I showed you, and then you do a stitch on the top. It looks like a little bag. Do a stitch on the top, and then that goes into the felt or the hat, whatever you're doing. Little stitch, just sort of keep it in the middle so it doesn't move around too much, and then fold over your sides inside. Start sewing one side of the seam, going all the way around. Leave a couple of inches before you finish, so then you can fold over any excess over the seam, and then that looks like a pleat. It looks much prettier. Then carry on with your stitches right to the end, and then you're done. Jeannie says, I do not put lining in Cinnamate button hats. So you might not, if it's a summer piece and you want it to be quite summery and light, and you just want to put Petersham in, and also if they're not paying that much, then this is extra time, it's time consuming. So it depends on your price point. You might have some price points where you spend more time on the hat, and if the client wants that, they'll pay for it, and if they don't want to pay for it, then they'll get this type of hat which doesn't have as much work in it. So you don't have to. I also have button Cinnamate ones which don't have any lining in. I just think this is brilliant for a winter piece, a piece like this, because if I just had Petersham in this, I know it looks more special with the lining. So you can decide what you want to do. And this one I really love, so it's good to know. Love your hat and better on the other side. It is, isn't it? It's looking a bit lopsided this side. I think it's better on this side. I just keep fiddling with this one and not finished it, as you all notice, because I had this on with the Q&A, didn't I? That we were doing. Thank you Jeannie. Okay, great. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I love making these videos for you, and I want you to know that I think I mentioned it on the last one quickly, that we're going to have a design challenge soon. So this is for everybody, but I'll be honest, it is to highlight the fact that I am opening up the academy again soon. So it's the Millinery Business Academy, and it's a monthly thing. You know, most of you have joined it already, and it's a monthly fee, which you then get loads and loads of training in it. There's loads of training in there already, and loads of extra training coming up. So it is a thing that is going on on the side, and I'm just loving it, and I love everybody that's in it. So will be doing a challenge soon to bring new people in, but it's also there for you guys to sort of learn new things and learn new tips. So I'm sort of wanting to serve you and bring new people in. So if you know anybody that would like to look at the challenge and do the challenge, then please sort of share it with them. So I haven't put a post up about it yet. I will do. I'm going to put up a link as well for you to sign up. So then as soon as we go for it, everyone's ready and they can have an email. We're going to do it around 7:30 every evening. I think it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then it will give a little bit of time for people to catch up over the weekend. And then the following Monday, I'm going to have a 3-part sort of Q&A for everyone, thing about hats, just sort of a training session on hats after that. So it's going to be the challenge, then it's going to be that. So anybody that's in the challenge wants to join that, then they can. And the challenge is going to be on designing. So I'm going to give you loads of my design tips. So you're going to then learn what you need to do and what you need to get together to create the hat that you really want to create, that you love. So it's how the design process works, having fun with it, drawing. Don't get scared of the drawing, because I'm going to show you how to do it quickly and easily. And it's not about having a pretty drawing. It's just about getting your ideas out of your head onto paper, doing angles, looking at architecture, and I'm going to teach you some little tricks on what to do. So at the end you'll have this hat that you want to make, and then you can go ahead and do it, and I can't wait to see what you end up with and what you end up making. So this is a design challenge that's coming up soon. 2 weeks time, I think it is, maybe a week and a half. I'm going to put the details up soon, and you can link and sign up for it, and it's going to be on Facebook. So brilliant. Hi Charlie, hello. So I hope you're all excited about that design challenge. Yeah, I think that's everything I had to say. Any questions about the hat making? Valerie, thank you Valerie. Marion. Hi Jeannie. You're welcome. So for a flat type base lining, would you use felt? Oh yes, if it's really flat and it's a flat hat, then you can use another piece of felt inside, or you could just put Petersham inside there, because sometimes it's easier if it's really flat. I haven't got one here, but if it's, say it's that flat, then you could just get a disc of fabric which is 1 inch wider than this, do a running stitch around it, and that's it. And then your mesh is going to be in the inside, so you just place it on there, all of the messy stuff is inside, and then just sew it down. So you're not doing what we did there with the whole disc, you're just getting a one flat piece of fabric that's round with it, that's going to be 1 inch wider. Do a little running stitch so it just pulls in slightly like a bag, and then just place that on so all the mess is inside, and then you stitch it down. So that could be for a flat one. I've done it as well for an eye drop, because you can actually pull it and shape it into an eye drop. But if your base is quite crazy, then no lining is really going to fit that easily into it, especially if it's flat. So then I would just put Petersham in it. And like I say, you don't always need linings. It's only if you feel like it. It's only if you want to. And this is how you can. Okay. Any other questions? I'll let you go. Have some tea. Nice to see you all again. Nice to chat to you. And I'll see you again next week, and have fun. Oh, should tell you last thing, I've been doing IGTV because I keep hearing about videos, like you've got to do loads of videos. So I've started up IGTV on Instagram. We're actually doing an Instagram bundle in the academy at the moment, so I'm really pushing my Instagram too, and it's working, so I'm so happy it's going up faster now. So IGTV, new channel, I've got 2 videos up there so far, so I will be putting little tips of hat making in that, and also those ones are going to be on Facebook as well. So if you hate Instagram and you're not on it, then you will see it on Facebook. But if you are on Instagram, then have a look at IGTV because there's a couple of videos up there, and there's loads more to come. And also be putting them on YouTube as well. So I have a YouTube channel. It's just Catherine Elizabeth Millinery, and yeah, lots of things going up on there. Okay.